You are now watching history's greatest enigmas. Stick around for riddles and mysteries as we journey through time together.
The air in the Isdalen Valley is thin and cold. It always has been. Located just outside the city of Bergen, Norway. This place has earned a grim nickname over the centuries, the Valley of Death. It is a land of steep, rocky slopes, dense, unforgiving forests. The trees stand like silent sentinels, their branches heavy with mist, guarding secrets that stretch back through time. In late autumn, as the days grow shorter, the sun struggles to pierce the perpetually grey sky. A deep quiet settles over the valley, the rustle of dry leaves, the distant call of a bird, the whisper of the wind as it snakes through the craggy landscape. It is a place that feels remote, disconnected from the modern world, even in 1970. On the morning of November 29th, 1970, that profound silence was about to be shattered. A local man, his two young daughters, they were hiking, seeking a brief escape into nature. As they climbed higher, a strange, acrid smell drifted toward them on the breeze. The unmistakable scent of something burned. It pulled them off their intended path and deeper into the wilderness. Drawn by grim curiosity, the father led his daughters toward the source. They found a small, secluded clearing, a rocky outcrop hidden from the main trail. Nestled between large boulders, they made a horrifying discovery. There, on the scorched earth, lay charred remains. It was a woman. She lay on her back, body contorted into a pugilist's stance. In November 1970, a woman was found burned beyond recognition in a remote Norwegian valley. All labels removed from her clothes, no identification, a coded notebook and mysterious last meal. Slightly more dramatic. I arrived with 8 different identities, checked into hotels under fake names, and left behind a coded notebook no one could crack. Then I burned myself so completely that even my fingerprints were gone. What was my final secret? When the Bergen police arrived at the scene, they found a puzzle with most of its pieces missing, seemingly burned away into nothing. The area around the body was meticulously arranged. Investigators found a half-empty bottle of St. Halvard liqueur, a local brand. There was also a plastic water bottle and a small tube of sleeping pills. A packed lunch, its contents still identifiable, sat nearby. It seemed almost like a picnic, a bizarre and tragic final meal set against a backdrop of self-immolation. As the forensic team began their grim work, the mystery only deepened. The fire had been incredibly intense and localized directly on the body, suggesting the use of an accelerant like petrol. Yet, no container for such a substance was ever found. More disturbingly, every single identifying mark on the woman's belongings had been systematically removed. The labels on her clothing were snipped away with precision. The brand markings on the bottles had been scraped off. Even the label on the tube of sleeping pills was gone. It was a conscious and thorough effort to erase an identity. The initial autopsy revealed more strange clues. The woman had a significant number of sleeping pills in her stomach, but not necessarily a lethal dose on its own. The official cause of death was determined to be a combination of drug poisoning and carbon monoxide inhalation from the fire. Soot was found in her lungs, proving she was alive when the fire started. But was it suicide? The violence of the fire and the strange posture of the body seemed inconsistent with a simple overdose. Furthermore, she had a peculiar bruise on her neck, which could have been caused by a fall or a blow. The investigation expanded when 2 suitcases belonging to the woman were discovered in a luggage locker at the Bergen train station. Police were led there by a description of a well-dressed, mysterious woman who had been seen in the area. Inside the suitcases, they found a collection of wigs, several pairs of non-prescription glasses, and a wide array of cosmetics, some from Norway, others from different European countries. Just like the items at the death scene, all the labels from the clothes inside the suitcases had been meticulously cut out. But the most significant find was a small, unassuming notebook. Within its pages was a series of cryptic codes, a jumble of letters and numbers that would become the central enigma of the entire case. The coded notebook was a detective's nightmare and a cryptographer's dream. Its pages were filled with methodical lines of characters that seemed to follow a pattern. but one that was impossible to decipher. Investigators managed to crack parts of the code, revealing a record of the woman's movements across Europe, Paris, Hamburg, Rome. But the notes offered no insight into her purpose, her contacts, or her true name. This discovery opened up a sprawling international investigation. Police began tracing the woman's journey backwards, using the partial information from the notebook. They soon learned that she had used at least 8 different aliases, complete with fake passports. She checked into hotels across Norway as Fenella Lorsch, Claudia Tielt, Vera Jarl, and Alexia Zana Merches, among others. She paid in cash, spoke German, spoke French, spoke Flemish, and spoke English, and left little impression on the staff other than being elegant and reserved. This was not the work of a civilian, it was the tradecraft of a professional. The police were no longer just investigating a potential suicide or murder. They were now confronting the possibility that the Isdal Woman was a spy, operating in the tense political climate of the Cold War. The most electrifying find was a single fingerprint. But after being run through Interpol, the answer came back: no match. But another clue offered a new path. A shopping bag from Oscar Rønnevig, a shoe shop in nearby Stavanger. A concrete lead, a rare link to a place and time. The owner's son, Rolf Rønnevig, became the next crucial witness. He remembered her vividly. She had come in asking for blue rubber boots, the kind locals used for hiking. He said she was strikingly elegant, dark-haired, and she spoke English with a strange accent. She was particular, taking a long time to choose. He gave a date, November 20th. The police now knew where she was 9 days before her death. The rubber boot purchase mattered. Burned remnants of a similar pair were found at the crime scene. Using the timeline, police began checking every hotel in the region. They discovered a woman matching the description had checked into multiple hotels, never staying in one place for long. At each hotel, she used a different name and a different passport. The registration card she filled out became a crucial source of information, but each name was a dead end. Her behavior was just as strange. Witnesses reported that she often communicated with staff using hand signals and broken German or English, even though other witnesses claimed she spoke both languages fluently. A guest at the Hotel Horderheimen saw her on November 23rd, the day she checked out for the last time. He was struck by her sophisticated appearance, but also by her tense and nervous demeanor. Perhaps the most enigmatic account came from a hiker in the Isdalen area. He reported seeing a woman matching her description, dressed in elegant city clothes, being followed at a distance by 2 men in dark coats. The most enduring and cinematic theory is that the Isdal Woman was a spy. In 1970, Norway was a critical Cold War frontier. Its long coastline was vital for monitoring Soviet naval movements. Her professional tradecraft fits the profile of a covert operative. Multiple forged passports, a coded notebook, constant hotel changes, and the systematic erasure of her identity. Journalists have uncovered that some of the aliases used by the Isdal Woman correspond to names found in old CIA and KGB training files. If she was a spy, her death could have been an assassination disguised as a suicide. Perhaps she was a double agent who was discovered and eliminated. The bruise on her neck and the missing petrol can strongly suggest foul play. A compelling alternative suggests the Isdal Woman was not a political spy, but a high-level criminal operative, perhaps a courier for an international smuggling ring. Recent investigations propose she was a Tito courier, part of a network operating from Nuremberg through Lorraine to Yugoslavia, possibly linked to the ruthless Yugoslav secret police, UDBA. This theory neatly explains her skill set. A criminal organization would require couriers who could travel discreetly, use false identities, and handle large sums of cash. Her death by fire would be a logical choice for a syndicate looking to silence a rogue element and send a message. In the gritty world of organized crime, betrayal is punishable by death. While theories of spies and smugglers are captivating, we cannot dismiss the possibility that the Isdal Woman's death was a deeply personal tragedy. The police's official conclusion, after all, was probable suicide. In this scenario, she was a deeply troubled individual on the run from a traumatic past. The web of lies was not tradecraft, but a desperate attempt to disappear and start a new life. A familial match links the Isdal woman to a lineage of women who fled Nazi persecution during World War II. This connection may explain her multilingual abilities and apparent distrust of authority. Her death was the final act of this self-erasure. The sleeping pills point to suicide, and the fire a final measure to ensure her body could never be identified. However, the sheer violence and the missing petrol can make this theory feel incomplete to many. For decades, the case gathered dust, but the 21st century ushered in a new era of forensic science. In 2016, Norwegian authorities reopened the case, applying modern techniques to preserved evidence. During the initial autopsy, samples of the woman's tissues had been carefully preserved. These samples, untouched for nearly half a century, represented the best chance to finally give the Isdal woman back her name. Stable isotope analysis of her teeth was astonishingly specific, pointing to a childhood in the Franco-German border region, likely Alsace or Bavaria. Mitochondrial DNA analysis confirmed her European origins, and, through genealogical databases, researchers have matched her DNA to distant relatives in France. The search for her name was on. At the beginning of our journey, we were presented with a riddle from the woman in the ashes. I arrived with 8 different identities. I burned myself so completely that even my fingerprints were gone. What was my final secret? The Isdal woman took her real name and her secrets to the grave, and they remain buried there. Her final secret was not just a name, but a history forged in the turmoil of 20th century Europe. She was not a nameless phantom, but a woman likely born on the contested border of France and Germany. Her secret was a life that taught her the harsh lessons of survival, deception, and the necessity of being a ghost. She erased her known identity, but she could not erase the biological truth written into her very bones and genes. Her final secret was her humanity, hidden beneath a masterclass in erasure. If this unsolved mystery kept you watching until the end, smash that like button right now. Drop your best theory in the comments below. Who was the Isdal woman, and why did she erase herself? The most interesting theories get pinned. And if you want more chilling historical enigmas and riddles every week, subscribe to History's Greatest Enigmas and turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode.